You're watching and listening to the latest Red and Blue review show. For all your Crystal Palace related chat, please like and subscribe across all the usual social media platforms, especially our YouTube channel. This really helps us out. Now, let's get on with the show.
A very good evening, Palace fans across the globe, and welcome to yet another Red and Blue review podcast. With me, Ian Noble, hosting tonight. And as you can see, joining me on screen, a wonderful panel of people who I'll introduce you to in a moment or two. Palace have now drawn twice in 4 days with goalless draws home to both Larnaca and Leeds United. We scored just 7 league goals from open play at home this season, the lowest total in the Premier League. And our deficiencies were exposed by failing to create many quality chances against a relegation threatened Leeds United with just 10 men. We're the first Premier League team on record not to register a shot on target against an opponent who had a player sent off in the first half. And sorry to start with a negative, but that's how it is, guys, at the moment, isn't it? It doesn't feel very good being a Crystal Palace supporter, despite the fact that we're relatively safe from relegation. And Nick Philpott is producing the show. What could go wrong? Let me introduce the panel to you. With me in top right on my screen is Yasmin Broom. Hello, Yaz. How are you this evening?
Hi, Ian. I'm good, thanks. And hello to everyone listening and watching.
Jolly good. And bottom right on my screen, it's Ireland's finest, Fergus Tidd. Hello, Ferg.
Evening, everybody. Yeah, looking forward to talking about all those goals that we've scored in the last 2 games.
Well, you're on the wrong podcast, mate. But I like what you've done to your name now. 0-0 again, ole. Very good. And Tim from our fan advisory board, Richards. How are you, Tim?
I'm good, thank you, Ian. Nice to see everyone.
Very good. And lots of people joining us in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us early. Do put questions in there. Do tell us your views. We'll try and involve as many people as possible throughout the show this evening. So, 2 0-0 draws on the spin against Larnaca in the last 16 of the Europa Conference League last Thursday night, and then again against Leeds United yesterday in the Premier League. Yasmin, you're going to do the Leeds game for us. Now, we can do this in reverse order tonight. We're going to do the Leeds game first, and then we're going to talk about Larnaca. All right, so it's fresh in our memory from yesterday. Let's get the lineup up then, Nick. So Yaz can tell us the changes, because there were changes to the lineup, Yaz, weren't there?
Yeah, there were. There were 3 changes. I think, well, they were all surprising, I guess, but to learn that Dino wasn't in goal was a bit of a shock, because we didn't know at first what was going on and why he wasn't, but we know now that he was unwell. So Benitez came in, which is fine. You know, he's done all right, hasn't he, in the games that he's played in. So that was okay with me. And then the other 2 changes were Hughes and Lerma, who came into the midfield, replacing Adam Morton and Daichi Kamada. Hughes was captain as Dino wasn't there. He's one of his vice captains, I think. So, yeah, I don't know what anyone thought of the lineup. Were you shocked?
Surprised that Dean Henderson wasn't in goal. Someone said he overdid it with his birthday celebrations. Fergus agrees with that. He thought that was the case, Ferg, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I can't repeat what I said at the game, but yeah, I think he had a pretty good week.
Very good, so but that wasn't surprised to see him missing, because if you picked him in fantasy as well, so many goalkeepers, by the way, in the Premier League are losing their places. So it's a bit of a nightmare if you're playing fantasy football, as you know that I do and take it quite seriously. So if you had Hendo in goal, bad luck. But you probably had Dubravka's 6 points off your bench. But anyway, this isn't an FPL podcast. This is a Crystal Palace podcast. Tim, what were your thoughts on the 2 changes in the midfield? Do you think that Glasner looked at what happened up at Leeds and thought he'd go for a bit more sort of bite and strength in the midfield?
Yeah, I think he's probably kind of finally twigged to what a lot of us have been saying for ages, in that Kamada and Morton can't play together because they're just not strong enough for a midfield. Just from a strength point of view, and like a Hughes type approach, I was surprised there were 2 changes. I was quite. I wouldn't have been surprised if it was Lerma and Wharton that started, but again, whether he had Europe in his mind. So yeah, that's potentially why.
Yeah, fair enough. I just want to say in the chat, we've got there's a viewer there, RE. It's just gone past RE1109, I think the name was. He's a Larnaca fan. Thanks for joining us all the way from Cyprus, or maybe you're in London, but you're a Larnaca fan. Let's talk about the Leeds game first. You've got to sit through that, and then we'll come to Larnaca a little bit later on. So yes, let's get straight into the game. Let's talk about what happened yesterday. Leeds were the better to start with when they started on the front foot.
Yeah, they had a couple of kind of like half chances, I suppose you would say. And I think it was for Aronson and Calvert-Lewin, they had the chances. And we had Brennan Johnson free kick, which was deflected over the bar. So yeah, it was okay to start with. And then the next kind of talking point was on about 33 minutes when Benitez caught the ball, but as he did, he almost brought the ball. He was over and he almost brought the ball over the line. I don't know if everyone saw that, as it happened. We did. I thought, oh my God, it's over the line, it's going to be a goal. And these, the pictures that Nick's got up here show you how close it was to being over the line.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Yaz. I'm just glad we didn't see it that close and it happened quickly. Yeah. Because heart in the mouth job that is, isn't it? That is really, his whole body is over the line, and he's just holding the ball. And I think we've got another graphic here, Nick, haven't we? Where we see it up closer on the goal line. Have we got that or not? Maybe not. Maybe that's me. I'm dreaming it. But there is when you look at the goal decision system, about sort of 3/4 of the ball is over the line, so it was close. So yeah. Could have been 1-0 early on, or was that 33 minutes, you reckon?
Yeah, it was around 33 minutes.
Okay.
So yeah, that was a bit of a nerve-wracking, waiting to see if VAR suddenly came up on the screen saying checking something. But thankfully it was all right. And
okay,
then...
Can I ask a question there then? Obviously we've got a goal decision system here now, so it tells the referee whether the ball's over the line or not. Thankfully it wasn't over the line. Without that goal decision system, what do you think the referee's going to decide when he watches that, Tim?
It's no goal. The ball didn't cross the line, so pretty confident.
So you think, to the naked eye, it didn't look like it crossed the line? It was
close. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. It was close, but I was pretty confident with that.
Yeah. Okay.
I think when something like that happens, you look straight at the ref, and he's got his little.
Yeah, you do now, but I'm just saying without that, so if it wasn't there, would he have said, oh, that was over the line, I'm going to give a goal? I think he probably doesn't, because it wasn't clear and decisive, so I think he doesn't give it, so it was close. Jack Baker says, a goal would have woken us up. Yeah, okay, mate. Yeah, it might have done, but there's other ways of waking up than conceding a goal. Can I just say, there was something that happened before that, Yaz, which in itself isn't significant, but it was significant when you look to see what happened afterwards. So just before that happened, I think on 31 minutes, Johnson was coming down the right-hand side on the right wing, and he was fouled by their fullback, Goodmanson. And it was a foul. He pulled him back, and he got a yellow card. All right. And no arguments about the yellow card at all. It was a straight booking. But that's significant, given what's going to happen later on.
Yeah.
So back to you, Yaz. Where do we go next?
So next, it's 45 minutes, and Leeds are awarded a penalty, and it was because of Hughesy handballing it. Now, from where, I don't know if you saw it actually happen, Ian, but I couldn't make it out from where we were. So obviously Hughesy got booked, and to be honest, I don't know if everyone else felt the same, but one, it was Calvert-Lewin, who likes to score against us. And two, Benitez, when we saw him on penalties, he didn't save any, and he didn't even dive the right way for any, I don't believe. When he
has saved a couple. Didn't he save a couple against
the European game?
But the last one in my mind was the Arsenal game.
Okay.
When
the Arsenal game when we let in 8. Okay, yeah. But he did save a couple against Millwall in the
in that
in the
he
lead
did.
up in that
But
competition.
he's gone downhill since.
Yeah.
So I was a bit worried. I can't lie. I thought surely it's going to be a goal.
Okay.
And
Actually, Yaz, I'm going to stop you there. Let's go, Nick. Can we just go back a screen to the handball? So I want to know from you guys: is Hughesy at fault here, or is he just unlucky? What is he doing with his arm in the air? What is he thinking, or isn't he thinking? Because his arm is in an unnatural position. The ball hits his arm. Therefore, the referee has no hesitation in giving a penalty kick. Should Hughes have done better, or is he just unlucky? Tim Richards.
I still say that the ball was headed onto his hand by the Leeds player at very close range. So I think a booking was harsh. But what's his hand doing up? I mean, if roles reversed, we'd be saying his hand's in an unnatural position up in the air. Yes, he's unlucky because it was so close, but it's a handball, it's a penalty. But I think the booking was a bit harsh.
Okay, but you definitely a penalty. But he should have known better. Would you say he should have known better?
Yeah, I have no idea why his hand's up there. He's got a lot of experience. It's not like he's a young player who doesn't know. So
yeah. Okay. In the chat, Lee Lockwood, he totally messed up there. Phillips von David says it's handball. Jack Baker says he's playing volleyball. D Campion 589. Hughes was an idiot. Yeah, I think collectively we're saying Hughes he should have done better. He should have known. He doesn't. He obviously doesn't do it again in a hurry, does he? When he goes up for a ball, But trouble is, when you're jumping for a ball, don't your arms go up automatically? Like I'm doing now, sort of thing. I think it's just a bit unfortunate, but again, penalty kick. We can't argue with the penalty being awarded, can we?
No.
So there we go.
No, I mean it was headed onto his arm, but as you say, I don't think it should have been up there for them to have done it. To be honest.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Let's get to the spot kick then, yes, because you were desperate to get to it.
Well, I'm not really. Oh, only because he missed. But, yeah. So Calvert-Lewin, who loves to score against us, I couldn't believe it. Because obviously Benitez went the other way, but he just totally missed, and I think he was aiming for the bottom corner, and he hit the advertising hoardings instead. Mm-hmm. So that cued a lot of cheering and all of that because we don't really like Calvert-Lewin.
Well, cue celebrations in the home end because I was celebrating like we scored a goal when he missed it. I couldn't believe her luck, really. Has anyone seen Wayne Rooney's analysis on Match of the Day too? Don't bother. No, he did say that he did say that his standing foot was too close to the ball and he sort of struck it with his heel, and that's one of the reasons he missed. So he did go into quite a lot of analysis as to why he actually missed the kick. And do you know what? I don't care. He missed, and that's all that matters, really. But as you say, Yaz, Benitez was nowhere near it. He went the wrong way, didn't even get close. But we got away with one, Fergus, didn't we?
Yeah, we certainly did, yeah. I mean, that's 99% of the time he's putting that away, isn't it? So
yeah.
I was just getting up, walking down, ready to go and get a beer or something at half time, expecting us to be 1-0 down, and then the next thing you're jumping around celebrating. So
yeah, absolutely, and that should have been the end of the action at the end of the first half, shouldn't it? Really, yes, but it wasn't.
Yeah. No, there was a couple more incidents. So the next one was where I think it was that what's his name, Gudmundsson. He caught Sarr, but it looked like live. It looked like he'd hit him in the face, but when you see it back, he caught him slightly with his shoulder. Sarr was hurt. He was down on the floor and he was down for quite a long time. The bench was going absolutely berserk. I didn't know what Paddy McCarthy was going to do, to be honest. He was incensed. But Gudmundsson doesn't get booked for that, which from where we were thinking, why has he not been booked? Then the people that do get booked is the two managers for their protests.
No, you're thinking. I think you're talking about a different incident, yes, if I may say so.
I'm talking about when he caught Sarr in the face.
Yeah.
And
but that wasn't Gudmundsson. That wasn't Gudmundsson. That was 15. That was the centre back. You're talking about the incident on the right, on the touch line or the centre circle?
The touch line.
Yeah, so that wasn't Gudmundsson.
No.
Oh, okay.
That was 15. That was 15. That was Jakob Bijol, who had already been booked as well. And it looked like it was a yellow card offence. So we were screaming for a yellow card.
From where we were.
But when you look back on it, it would have been soft. It would have been soft,
Yeah,
I think.
I agree. But Saar was hurt. That was a fact.
Yeah, sure.
So anyway, I then get up to go. I never go early to the loo, but decided to. But I was halfway downstairs, came back up again when I heard
too much information, but still.
I'm just saying. And this was Goodmanson. He had taken, well, they'd come together, and I think looking at it again, it had looked worse than it actually was. And when you look back on it, it was quite a soft challenge, and the referee books him. Now, he hadn't realised that he had already booked him, as Ian said, on 31 minutes. So Saar and the craft are trying to tell him that, or tell him something else, depending on what way round.
It's like they're doing a Winston Churchill impersonation.
And still he's not getting it. And then finally, we think someone told him in his ear that actually he had been booked. So then he sent him off. And I think both lots of fans were saying, you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, it was, if ever there was a case of a referee not knowing what he was doing, this was it. It was frankly embarrassing. I mean, he's going to get hauled over the coals by the referees panel, this guy, for this, because I reckon that if he's realised that he's already booked Goodmanson, he doesn't book him for that second challenge. I think he lets him off and lets him stay on the pitch. And there's an incident that we'll come to with a Palace player. Was a similar situation. So he gets his yellow card out. He's already booked him. He's got nowhere to go with this other than to brandish the red card, which was probably a little bit of a soft sending off. It was a foul. Was it another booking? Tell us in the chat whether you think that Goodmanson's second yellow was a booking. Let's ask you guys. Fergus, was it a booking for Goodmanson's second time? Or was he unlucky?
No, I honestly think he was unlucky. I think the ref gave a yellow thinking it was his first. And then obviously realised his mistake, but by then it's too late. But yeah, it was soft.
And was there an element, Tim, of the fact that the ball had, when the challenge had been made, the ball carried on to Johnson, and Johnson was running onto it in almost into the final third, but the referee had already blown up, so he pulled the play back. When really a foul on a Palace player, he could have played advantage there. And some reports I've read is that he's booked the player because he wanted to soften the blow, because he's realised he's made a bit of a mistake and Palace should have had the advantage. Would you hold with that?
No, I don't think. I think it's just a cock-up from just another poor referee who got forced. I think it was a harsh. It may have been a foul, but not every foul's a yellow card.
No, exactly.
So I think Leeds were unlucky with that, to be honest.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, 100%.
But let's talk about the red card then, because when he gave the red card, something happened. So let's have a look at that next graphic. What happened? Yes, tell us what happened.
So Camvo decides to do a celebration dance right in front of the cameras, and so I think we've got different views on the panel about it. I mean, I think it's not very professional and sportsmanlike. Ian thought it was funny. What does everyone else think? I don't know. I
think they need to sense. They need to censor that picture, because I don't know what Cambo's doing to the referee in that picture. But it doesn't look right.
One thing I will say about the pictures is that they're all taken by Nick Philpott. Nick Philpott took all the pictures tonight. He is our photographer extraordinaire. Let's get that one back again. Let's get that picture back, and I'll try and describe it for the.
What is he doing?
I can't even begin to describe it for the podcast listeners. But Cambo is behind the referee. He's brandishing a red card, and Goodmanson, he's got his arms in the air saying, "Me ref, are you sure?" So there we go. So Cambo, unprofessional or just a bit of fun? I think what we're going to do is put it in a bit of context. He's a young lad. He's a professional footballer, but he's a young lad, and he got overexcited maybe. Probably not the done thing. Tim, bit of fun, or should he not have done that?
I don't think it's necessary. It's the same as players that dive and roll around. To my mind, you don't need it. I mean, you just got to think that Nick Philpott doing that and his budgie smugglers in Cyprus is enough to put you off. But no, I don't think he should do it.
Real panel. Thanks for joining us, Paul. Tonight you're supposed to be having an evening off. He said, Canvo should know with our record against 10 men, it's nothing to celebrate. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Can I just say,
sure enough,
it was wrong. It was wrong, but it was nice to see a bit of passion from somebody.
True.
He's engaged in the game, and
and he'd actually played very well, hadn't he? And he did play well. I thought he had a good game. And whenever the balls went into the box, you were talking earlier, Yaz, in the first half about Leeds having the chances and Calvert-Lewin's header and Aronson's shot that went wide. But they had a few other balls that were played into our penalty area, and it was Camvo more often than not that was on the end of those, heading the ball away. So I think he had a good game for a 19-year-old. He'll learn, and he probably needs to be told, look, don't do that again. It's not a done thing. But it was quite amusing. I thought it was funny anyway. So we get to half-time, all square, yes. One player up, but still 0-0.
Yeah, and then second half, obviously, we've got an extra man, so you would hope that the plan was to push on and really go for the game, but we didn't really. Not really, nothing much seemed to happen, really. We did, Johnson did a stupid foul, didn't he? Sorry.
Oh.
My battery. 1 second, guys. There's something wrong here.
All right, so I'll take over here. Johnson slides in here. He's facing the wrong way, and he's already on a yellow card here, and he clips the Leeds player. And the Leeds players were quick to ask the referee to send him off and book him to even it up, but he got away with one. Ferg, do you agree with that? He should have maybe been booked for a second time.
Yeah, I think he was very lucky. Very lucky. Because I was convinced that second half, knowing that the ref had made a mistake with that initial sending off, that he would try and even it up. And that was his opportunity to do it. And he didn't take it. So I was very surprised.
Yeah. Okay.
But it could quite easily have been second year, and you couldn't argue against it, really, could you?
Yeah, sure. You back with us, yes?
Yeah, sorry. My thing had got knocked out.
Okay.
I think really lucky considering what had happened in the first half, and I think they could probably feel a bit aggrieved about that, to be honest with you, because his foul was more of a foul. It was a bit of a it's just a stupid one, I think, especially when you're already on the booking.
Excellent. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. So he's lucky to stay on the pitch. Was that before the substitutions? We've got substitutions on the hour mark.
Yeah, 60 minutes. Wharton and Mateta came on for Strand-Larsen and Hughes.
Welcome back, Jean-Philippe Mateta. Ray.
If you'd like to welcome him back, that's fine. That wasn't what I said, but there was some. I don't know if people are booing or they're booming or whatever they're doing when he comes on. But I think what I was upset about, and maybe some others were too, was taking off Strand-Larsen. Now we've got an extra man. Surely, if you're going to bring Mateta on, if that's your decision, why not play two of them and really go for the game? But he didn't, and I think that was what I was unhappy about, and lots of people around me. What about you, Ian?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's got. I mean, you could argue that he should have left Strand-Larsen on and gone for the game and played two of them up top. Maybe Mateta up top and Strand-Larsen just behind or something like that, because we know he can probably play there. So I think Gladster's got one eye on Thursday. We're going to come to Thursday shortly. I think he's wanted to give Mateta minutes, give him more game time, so he's ready when we're really needed in the knockout phase of the Conference League. And that he's resting Strand-Larsen because he's played him 60 minutes. He's got to play again on Thursday. I think he's got one eye on Thursday night when he's making those substitutions, is my view. Glasner is more concerned about Thursday than he was about yesterday. Whether you agree with that or not, he's thinking about we must get over the line on Thursday night. If we don't beat Leeds, it's not the end of the world as long as we don't lose or we don't get spanked. But Thursday's more important. That's what I think he's thinking. But I might be wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that was the right decision. I mean, obviously, my post after the game, Ian said it already, but
let's say
yeah, go on.
I'm going to throw you under the bus a bit here, Ferg. All right, okay. So forgive me up front, but you said it was effing awful. This is Fergus in a group, okay? That we're in a Palace chat group. Effing awful. Glasner clueless. Worst football under Oliver Glasner since he joined. He has to go now. Is what you said. Have you mellowed a bit since last night, or do you still think that?
I've mellowed a little bit, but I still think that he's playing it too safe now. He's just seeing out the season. I don't think he's got the players' backs anymore. He's not motivating them. He's not taking any risks. It's boring football. I mean, I know we're going to come on to the Larnaca game, but he did a similar thing yesterday for Leeds. He took Strand Larson off, who was, okay, he didn't have a lot of chances, but his effort was there. He was back and forward. And he takes him off and he brings Mateta on. Now, I know what you're saying, he's got one eye on Thursday, but he's got, 4 days? And Walton was only saying, pre-match interview, saying that players, they physically can play 3 games a week. It's just mentally sometimes.
Yeah.
So I don't think Thursday is relevant to this. I just think he should have taken Johnson off, dropped Mitchell back, gone 4-4-2 with Sarr and Gassond out wide and Mateta and Larson up front. And he should have done that second half at the beginning of the second half when they're pleasant.
Let me bring Tim in, then we're going to go straight back to Yaz and finish this game because otherwise we won't have enough time to finish this podcast. Tim.
Well, we can leave it to the end, but I think for me the greater concern is the complete lack of crossing or quality of dead ball or crossing that we've done for games now. It's been awful. We're never looking like scoring from those. And you've got a player like Strand Larson, who's a great header of the ball. When was the last time you actually had a decent cross that you could actually go for?
Probably Burnley in the first half when he scored with the diving header, but there we are. So, Yaz, we'll come to the disallowed goal now, shall we? Is that right?
Yeah, that was 79 minutes. So it was a corner, short, looked like a training ground kind of move, really. Short corner that Brennan put across. But it was headed in eventually by Lerma, which looked really good. But straight away, Leeds.
Can I stop you, Yasmin? Sorry, I'm going to stop you, cut across you. What we're looking at on screen, if you're listening back on the podcast, we're looking at a picture here of Johnson having taken the corner on the left. He's played it short to Gassand, who's on the ball now. And as he strikes the ball here, he's going to play it back to Johnson. So he's brought himself sort of 15 yards closer to the goal from the corner flag to put the cross in. But the problem is Johnson hasn't got an eye on the Leeds defenders across the 6-yard box, and he is marginally offside, which we'll see in the next graphic. I'm going to come back to this after we've finished. There it is. Look at this. He's marginally offside there. It's by the smallest of margins. The linesman didn't hesitate there. The linesman put his flag up pretty quickly, and VAR agreed with him. Of course, it is offside, and you can't argue. They're the rules. He's offside. But should Johnson have done better here? Should he have looked across that line and be more aware? Easy with hindsight, of course it is. But should he have been more aware, yes?
I think so, definitely. I mean, I'm assuming that's a move they've rehearsed. So surely that comes into it. Make sure that you're on side. So I do think, he should have looked and he should have been quicker.
Mm. Paul Bristow
called you
immediately. Well, you would, Paul, wouldn't you? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I think when you take a short corner like that, you've got to be conscious that as soon as those Leeds defenders see that ball go out up the pitch, they all move out. So if you're going to pass it back, you've got to be a little bit more clever than that.
Yeah.
It was close. It was unlucky, but I never celebrated it because when it happened in the opposite home style, it looked like he was more offside than he was.
Yeah,
yeah, obvious.
Maybe that's why the liner stuck his flag up. And of course, if the liner's wrong, then it's given anyway, isn't it? So,
and you never know when they draw that line. At what point they drew it? You know, it was probably more offside.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, but good finish, Tim, from Lerma. Opportune in the box.
He did very well. I think it was a good reaction. It was a great finish. But yeah, Johnson, he's not. I mean, he's not. You know, he's still quite young, but he's got a lot of experience. I mean, that's unforgivable to be offside. You're taking a short corner, like Ferg says. You at least look along the line and make sure you're out. You come out with and you have plenty of space. It wasn't even like it was a tight space. So yeah, unforgivable, really.
Unforgivable, says Tim. Unforgivable. Do you agree with Tim, or can you forgive him for it? You know, so let us know in the chat. So it's 0-0 still, unfortunately. We celebrate, but it was short-lived.
Yeah, and then to be honest, after that, I mean, Mateta miskicked a chance. I mean, I won't go on. I didn't think he was particularly great when he came on. He didn't do anything of note.
I thought he looked a bit like he used to look, you know, a bit of Bambi on ice, really. You know, he completely kicked once towards the end. I thought, oh my goodness me, you know, very poor. Fergus.
If we're talking about Mateta, yeah? Yeah. 30 minutes, he had 9 touches. That's not great, is it, really? Especially when you're attacking the team with 10 men.
Yeah.
Good enough.
Just to say that obviously Johnson went off just after that goal was disallowed, and Canvo did, and poor Canvo had to walk past the Leeds fans, which I don't think he would have enjoyed that much. So and that was it really. I mean, around me, people were saying it was one of the worst games they've seen. I mean, I said, well, you went at the away game, that was worse. But I just found that even right at the end, we weren't going for it. We were passing it as if we were 2-0 up, sideways to each other, and there was just no urgency. And I don't understand why. But yeah.
I think there could have been an element of, you know, if you're not going to win, don't lose. You know, there's that element. You got the point, you know, let's not lose the point. We're hanging on to that. But, you know, we're the home team. We should have been pushing on, if anything. And, you know, if you look at the stats, we'll have this. I don't know if we got the stats. We haven't, have we? I don't think tonight. Yeah. But the stats were 66% possession, Palace.
Yeah.
So we definitely had a lot more of the ball than Leeds did. Canvo walking past the Leeds fans. I saw a comment go through earlier. I don't know who said it. Canvo's going to get a nice welcome at Ellen Road next season if they stay up, which I think they probably will do, actually. So, but I think he's definitely one of our own now in what he did. So, you know, that was great. Good. Okay. Thanks, Yaz, for that. It's a point gained, you know, respect the point. I'm not sure, really. I think we should have won the game, but it wasn't to be. Guys, let's just cover off other teams. We haven't got any graphics for this week, I don't think, but I will give you the other team news as is customary on this podcast. Palace women beat Forest 1-0, also played at the same time as we played yesterday, and they currently sit third in their league in the WSL2. The under-21s, they drew 2-2 with Wolves in the Premier League 2 Division 1 on Saturday, and they sit mid-table in their league, and Czech Dekure played 71 minutes in that game. Under-21s, they've played twice since we were last on air. Last Tuesday, on the 10th of March, they beat Villa 3-2 away at Villa Park in the FA Youth Cup quarter-final. And that's the first Youth Cup semi-final for Palace for 30 years now. Man United or Sunderland await in the semis. And on Saturday, they beat Reading 4-2 away in the Under-18 Premier League and sit third in their league. So well done to those other teams representing the red and blue for Crystal Palace. So we've talked about Leeds game. We've done that. We're going to go back in time now and talk a little bit about Larnaca at home last Thursday night, because then it feeds in nicely to the second leg, which is, of course, this coming Thursday. So, Fergus, you're going to take us through the Larnaca game very briefly.
Yeah, so I think there's a couple of changes from the Spurs game. I think Munoz and Riyad were both out, and Johnson and Lacroix came in. I actually think with the exception of Munoz, that this is probably our strongest side at the moment. I know we're probably going to talk about that, but yeah, it was good to see him going for it. I mean, we all know what the result was in the end. I've got my notes here, by the way, as well on the game.
Very good. So for the podcast listeners, Fergus is holding up a piece of paper that's about the size of a postage stamp with his notes on the game.
It's a postage stamp. Do you know what? Actually, I watched it back, and it was painful. But they more went on than actually I gave credit for. I've got to be fair about that. But it's just playing a team like Larnaca at home and coming away with another. Well, we lost last time, but another goalless draw. It's just cool. So referee was from Croatia, I believe. We'll probably talk about him. And every time a Larnaca player went down, it seemed to be a free kick. And they took 20 seconds to take it. But we, on 7 minutes. So Walton passed the ball through to Larson down the right-hand side, then he cut back, he beat the left back, left him sitting on his backside, and ran into the area and crossed it. And Gassons was there, and he just smashed it straight at the goal. And they all said it was a great save by the keeper, but I don't think he knew anything about it. It hit him in the chest from about a yard out.
Anywhere else, it's a goal, yeah?
Yeah. So that obviously gives you hope, because you're thinking, 7 minutes gone, we've already created a really good chance. And then 12 minutes, Saar he actually beat two Larnaca players. He was on the floor, and there was a bit of tussling going on. He's got up, ran towards goal, and curled a left-footed shot just over the crossbar. Another good chance. So started positively. And then 18 minutes again, Saar, he beats the left back and he crosses it to the back post. And Gassons, it's gone a little bit, it's gone past him, but he stuck out an outstretched leg and it's just gone wide of the post. So, we started well, created a few good chances, and then it kind of went, the game sort of died off. And it wasn't until just before half time that we had a chance, 41 minutes. Good work by Kamada. We'll start into Kamada, and then it looked like he was shooting across to the far side of the goal, but it was a poor shot. But Mitchell was coming in the back, and he just smashed the ball. And again, the goalkeeper just flung himself.
Yeah,
and it hit him on the thigh.
His sort of leg and went over the bar. Yeah. Should Tyrick Mitchell have done better, Tim, with that chance towards half time?
Well, you can't. No, I don't think so. I mean, he's not a striker, So I mean, he made good contact on it. Keeper made a hell of a save. I mean, yes, you could say in some ways, but I think he did all right, to be fair.
Yeah, I think it's hard to criticise, isn't it? Because he didn't do much wrong, came at him quite quickly, and the keeper made an outstanding save, which again, for like you said earlier about the previous one, he knew little about, So we knocked on the door a bit in the first half, didn't we? We had a few chances, but just wasn't our day, and I don't think the conditions helped. Someone said earlier in the chat the weather was the most exciting thing. The conditions. I thought it was a bit of a leveler. I'll say about those weather conditions.
Well, I was going to come on to that because that was half time, essentially. But the throws in the corners, because of the weather, it was atrocious, and nothing was working. The corners were going too far. The wind was catching it. The throws were being blown away from goal. It was, it was frustrating because you're thinking, we'll take short corners and take short throw-ons, keep the ball on the floor. But they just continued to do that throughout the whole game. I think we took one short corner. In the game, which
it sort of epitomises Glasner's sort of take on playing football, doesn't it? He's got a plan. He sticks to that plan. You stick to the plan. There's no plan B. That is what he does. And so I agree with you, mate. I think given the conditions, we should have changed the way we played some of these set pieces. Clearly wasn't working.
No, and this is going back to my point earlier: the frustration about tactics and because this is all simple stuff. We all see it in the ground. And you're thinking, why don't you do something, change it? But
and yet, if I can just, I'll come in, bring you in a minute, yes. And yet, yesterday, what we didn't say in the Leeds game, there were a couple of throw-ins in the first half, especially from the right-hand side, where the flick-ons were good. We got the flick on. The first flick was good. It was the second bit. We just couldn't get to it to finish it off. Keeper grabbed one, another one did something else. But, so we know we can do it, and we have scored like that. But the
conditions are much better.
We score are few and far between, aren't they, really? Right, Yasmin, then Tim, back to you, Ferg. Yes.
I was only just going to say on this, not changing plans and stuff. Remember when we played Man City last season, we lost 5.
5-2, yeah.
And then we had them in the final. Yeah. And he said, we're gonna sort out what we did wrong and we'll solve it. So why? Yeah. And we did solve it. We won. So why is it not happening now? Especially if Europe is what he's interested in. Why is he not solved? Against Larnaca, he should have been able to solve that by now. I'm just wondering. Don't know what anyone else thinks.
Yeah, it's a good point. We might know the answer after Thursday night, Tim.
Yeah, I think you've got to also remember Larnaca have only conceded 1 goal in the whole Conference League so far.
Yeah,
so they're
that was the 94th minute.
Yeah, they're no mugs, and they basically do to us what we used to do to other teams, where you just sit back and hit on the break. And they had 1 chance in the whole game, but that's the way they play. And again, Glasner's ego won't let him try anything different. We're notoriously bad against a low block. It's the same in every European game. So like I said, why not do something different? And I think this is probably his Achilles heel, in that he's not prepared. I'm Oliver Glasner. I've won the FA Cup. I know everything. We will do it my way. Well, unfortunately, we've been found out. Teams have learned how to play against that. And look at this season.
I think there is an element of the fact we're going to be mindful that this Larnaca game is different from Leeds because it's a 2-leg affair. Stephen Dyer's just said in the chat, just gone through, with a 2-legged affair, you don't want to lose that first game, regardless. So we must remember that this is 0-0 at half time, really.
You've got to be winning your home games, though.
Yeah. Well, you could argue that, but it's still 0-0 at half time. Ferg, let's come back to you and finish off the analysis of the game, and then we'll talk about what's going to happen this week and what we believe should happen this week.
Yeah. So 56, Kamada out wide to Johnson. He crossed from the right. I think Sarr got his head to it. Might have been defender then Sarr, but it went wide of the goal. And then 67, this is a short corner, Walton to Kamada, and he laid it off to Johnson.
Yes.
And he shot from the edge of the box, and it almost went in the upper tier Honesdale.
He'd been watching the rugby, hadn't he?
Yeah. Poor attempt. And then a corner by Johnson, and Richards at the back post, a header, and it just lands on top of the goal. It's the top of the net. I don't know if you guys thought he could have done better.
I'd like to see him hit the target from there. It was a good opportunity, wasn't it? Get his head on it. Maybe it was his hair got in the way. I don't know, but he needs to get over it and hit it down.
Yeah,
opportunity, but not a big chance. Half chance, maybe. I don't know. Maybe you could debate that all day, but opportunity certainly.
Yeah, and then 77. So Mateta comes on. So obviously it's his first game back. I think there was definitely some booing, but the majority of the crowd started singing Strand Larsen's song because he was the one going off.
Yeah.
So I like that rather than the booing, singing the Strand Larsen's song, sort of send a message.
Sure.
Then on 78, so Gassund again, a strong one right through the middle, knocks it out to Sarr. He crosses again, and there's a bit of a deflection, and it hits Gassund. He doesn't know much about it, but it just rolls straight into the keeper's hands. So another good chance gone. And then at the end, Larnaca, which is typical Palace, last 5 minutes. Suddenly, Larnaca down the upper end, they get a couple of corners. The first one, I think it's Cabrera, gets his head to it, and I think it just hits Richards, and it goes out again for another corner. Of course, we're all sitting there expecting the worst to happen. And they took another corner, and fortunately it came to nothing. But that was pretty much it. I've got to say, from a Larnaca perspective, they played really well. They played to their strengths. They didn't give us. I mean, we had a few chances in the first half. I think at half time they probably went in, thought we were a little bit lucky there. The second half they really dug in, and were playing for that draw. They didn't have any shots on target, so that's what gives me confidence for the return leg. But Pino came on for Johnson right at the end, but no impact any of the substitutions. So we only made 2, but
okay,
that's it. Final whistle.
Yeah, thanks, Fergus. Obviously disappointing not to win the game. We're at home against a team that we believe are obviously inferior, but they did battle well. Larnaca, I thought they did play well. They probably deserved their draw on the night. And as I said earlier, it is just 0-0 at half time. Really, we haven't got Real Paddle on the show, but his cinema date's been cancelled. And he's just told us that it's Brentford 2, Wolves 1 in the Premier League, just to prove that we're live, everybody. All right. So, so thanks for that update. So we go into the second leg on Thursday. This is Thursday, 19th of March. This coming Thursday. It's a 5:45 kickoff UK time. If you're going out to Cyprus, it's Central European time, isn't it? 6:45 kickoff, I would imagine, out there in Cyprus itself. I think one of the things we've got to be mindful of, and Glas just talked about this, the extra games we've been playing. This will be our 12th game in the competition on Thursday night. 12th extra game. If we go on to the final, that's 17 extra games. That's an awful lot compared to what we've been used to playing. Okay, we went out the cups early, domestic cups, that is. But that's a lot of extra football being played. We expect Oliver Glasner to go strong again, don't we? Because he went strong last Thursday night. Expect Henderson and Munoz to return, providing they're fit, of course. I want to know from you guys, and I want to know in the chat, who do you play alongside Adam Wharton in the midfield? So I think Adam Wharton gets in. It could be up for debate, but I think Adam Wharton gets selected. Who plays alongside him? And who gets the nod to partner, assuming Sarr and Strand Larsen start? Who gets the nod to start up top? Or sort of in a 10 position. Now, I've listed 6 players here. Gesand, Hughes, Johnson, Kamada, Mateta, Pino. You got 6 players there. Most of them are international footballers. Okay. Who's going to play on Thursday night? Ladies first, I think. Any fair?
So I would choose Hughes and Gesand.
Okay.
Just because Hughesy, I've already said about Kamado that I agree with Paul. Since he's come back, he's struggling to get back to how he was before, because he had improved. Whether people don't like him, he had improved. But now I do feel there's a bit of him not wanting to get injured and maybe pulling back a bit, which Hughesy, doesn't do. Obviously, you've got the other worry that he could be sent off, but and then Gesand, I think he's been doing really well. I like him personally, and he's the one I would play.
Okay, good, interesting. Okay, thanks. There's a lot of love for what you're saying in the chat. A lot of people are saying Gesand with others, and they're saying Hughes as well. Tim, let's come to you. Who would you select?
Lerma to play next to Wharton. Great.
Oh, I didn't mention Lerma, did I?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I'm sorry, Jeff.
Yeah, good throws. He's a really good header of the ball. So I'd like to see him play like Mateta and Strand Larsen up front together, with maybe Sarr, and then bring Gussard on during the second half. But
sorry, I'm missing something. I'm missing something. So you said Lerma alongside Wharton in the midfield, and who's going to play the 10?
I'd like to see something different, Strand Larsen and Mateta as a front two.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, let's try something different. It hasn't been working really the way he has been doing it, and they won't expect that. And to have both of those big lumps up front, if we can get them service, I think would be key, to be fair.
Very good. Okay. What about you, Fergus?
I'm with Tim. I'm going to go Gasland and Lerma.
Well, you're going.
For the set pieces.
You're going with Yaz and Tim, because Yaz said Gesand and Tim said Lerma. So you're going Lerma and Gesand.
I am, yeah. But I agree with Tim. I would go. That's assuming we're going to play our 3-4-2-1 like we always do. But I think we should go. I think we should go 4-4-2. I think
that
we
won't
should.
happen. That won't happen.
I know, but I think we should play 4 at the back, play Gasson and So out wide, and the 2 strikers, Mateta and Larson up front.
Yeah. So Munoz will come back, I think. So Brennan Johnson will miss out. But I think probably I like the thinking of Lerma. I don't know why I missed Lerma off my list. Apologies to Jefferson Lerma. But I think, I think Hughes to start. Yes, I hate to say this. I think I agree with you.
It's charming, isn't it? Eh?
No, that's fine. We can agree. We can agree.
Come back, Nick. All is forgiven.
Oh, well, talking of producer Nick, should we get him on? Should we get producer Nick on?
Only if he's not got his budgie smugglers on.
Because this is Nick, the producer, everyone, complete with headphones. Don't they suit him? If you're watching on the podcast, Nick, good evening. How are you?
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? All right, buddy, not too bad work. You guys are doing a cracking job.
We can hear you loud and clear. Have you given it some thought to our question? You know, who would you play alongside Wharton? Who would you play in the 10? Who would you select?
And sadly, I agree. I'll be playing Lerma. Lerma, definitely. And Kusun and Strand Larson up top.
Yeah, okay. Very good. Okay, brilliant. Now, Nick, one of the reasons I brought you on, DJ Nick, a lot of love for you in the chat already. Out of the rest of us, you're the only one that is going to be travelling to Cyprus this week. So well done you for biting the bullet and going. Tell us when you're going, when you're coming back, what your plans are. Please.
Okay, so we fly into Pathos on Wednesday. Okay, we're flying to Pathos on Wednesday.
Yeah.
We're driving across the island on Wednesday afternoon, staying in Larnaca. And I fly back from Larnaca on Friday morning back into Gatwick. So it's quite easy. I can see everybody saying hello to me in the chat. Good evening, everybody. Paul, I can see you out there, mate. And good evening to the guy from Larnaca. You are very welcome on the Red and Blue Review, mate. I hope you're enjoying the show.
Nick, have you seen the weather forecast out there?
I have. My budgie smugglers are going to get wet.
I don't know. We probably haven't got a picture of the ground, but I saw a picture of the ground earlier. There are 3 sides of the ground, yellow and green.
They're all open. Yeah,
and it's completely open. It's completely open. There's no cages. That's the good news. You're not going to be stuck in a cage like Mostar or Strasbourg. But there's no. But you've got one side that's got a little stand on it. It reminded me of the GTEC for Brentford, but without the roofs on the stand. You know, it was a bit like that. You know, so yeah. I don't know what the capacity is, but was it 10,000 or something? 12,000? I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And how many Palace going out? Do we know?
I don't know because apparently they're also selling seats in the away end. I know Larnaca have been very generous and did what they did in, I think it was Strasbourg. They're selling some in the home end as well. So there should be quite a few of us out there. I'll see my man 1109 is out there. As his comment in the chat, it's going to be raining, not 50 degrees like we used to, unfortunately. But I'll still be there. 1109. I'll be out there.
So 1109, look out for Nick Philpott wandering about, looking lost outside the ground, probably on the streets of Larnaca.
All right, Yaz, contain yourself, Yaz, for God's sake.
Got your handkerchief with the corners all done, you know.
Yeah, I don't think that would be necessary, mate.
Nick, in all seriousness, very well done to you and your pals that are going out there. I will be very jealous on Thursday morning for sure. I'll be watching in my local pub.
I've also got my.
Go on.
I was going to say I've also got my flights booked for the next round as well.
Fair enough. We'll come to that. We'll come to that in a sec. So I want to know where you're watching. So where are you watching in the chat? Are you watching at home? You're going to go to the pub? You're going to meet some Palace pals somewhere? Be good to know where you're going to be watching the game Thursday night. Are you travelling to Cyprus and you're going to be with Nick out there in the ground, in the rain, in the island of Cyprus, in Larnaca? So, Yaz, what about you? Where are you going to be watching?
I'm going to watch it at home with my TNT subscription that I brought instead of going to one of the games. I thought, well, I'd have spent that on the flight, so I brought that for the year. But
Fair enough.
I wish I was going, to be honest. But the thought of not getting back, possibly not getting back, if anything should happen, put me off.
Okay, let's not think about that at all. Ferg, where are you going to be watching? Coming up the pub with me, mate?
I think so, Ian. Yeah. You know,
Well,
you said you
I'm
would buy
buying, I
the
suppose you
first
will.
couple of rounds. Yeah.
What about you, Tim? Where are you watching, mate?
Hopefully with Yaz putting a phone up to a TV so I can watch it through that way. But yeah.
Cheapskate. Get yourself down to the local pub, mate, and enjoy it down there.
I'll have a look
okay.
at this. Yeah.
So let's have a look at the fixtures, Nick. What have we got coming up in the weeks ahead? Because it isn't just Larnaca. What we got? Here we go. So Larnaca on Thursday evening, which we've already spoken about, and then we have a nice long break. Look, it's 3 weeks until the 11th of April before we play again. That is scheduled at the moment for Saturday, the 11th of April, home to Newcastle United in the Premier League. And then the following weekend, this game at the moment is on the Monday, the 20th of April, West Ham at home, live on Sky Sports. Now, that one could be moved forward to the Sunday if we need to play in the following midweek. And the permutations of that are all to do with the FA Cup. It's to do with the fact that Manchester City played Liverpool in the FA Cup quarter-final, and the losers of that game might have a free Saturday to play us. And at the moment, we're scheduled to play Liverpool that following weekend. But of course, if they win against Manchester City in the quarter-final of the FA Cup, that game will be postponed because that is semi-final weekend on the 25th of April. We're due down in Bournemouth on the 2nd of May and then Everton on the 9th of May. So they're the next games that are scheduled for Crystal Palace to play in the next 6. But we know it's going to look very different, and we hope there'll be a quarter-final Conference League tie sandwiched in there somewhere. We've got those dates, of course, should we progress in the competition. I'm just having a quick look in my diary now because I did put those dates in. So just bear with me. They're the 9th of April and the 16th of April are the quarterfinal ties for the Conference League. Champions League, there's a wishful Freudian slip, the Conference League. So we play Larnaca Thursday night. We know that. We've talked about it. What are the scores going to be? What's the score going to be on Thursday night? I'm going to come to you, Ferg, first. How are we going to get on in Cyprus?
I'm going to go 1-0 Palace.
1-0 Palace. Brilliant. I love that. Tim, what about you?
2-1 Palace.
2-1 Palace. Yasmin?
Well, I think it could be 0-0.
0-0 on pens?
Yeah.
And are we going to win on pens?
Not if Benitez can go.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I'm glad you're not taking the penalties because I don't think we'd win otherwise, you know. So you're unsure. You really are. Come on, don't sit on the fence. Are we going to win on penalties or not? You said 0-0.
Yeah. We will probably scrape it, I think.
Scrape it on penalties. Nick, you're going all the way out there. What is your take on it? You're muted at the moment. Unmute yourself and tell us what your score prediction is going to be, mate.
I think I'm going to go 1-2 Palace.
1-2, same as Tim. And I'm going to go 2-0. I think we'll get 2. Same as Plar 60s. 1-0 Palace. A lot of love for 1-0 Palace. Larnaca to win 4-3 on penalties. Yeah, look, it's going to be tight again, isn't it? But they're the home team. They've got to come at us. We're going to, and that's, we'll play better like that. I think Glasner will have them up for it. And this is probably, well, not probably, it is now the most important game in our season. There is a thinking that if we do lose this game, that Glasner's got to go. I don't think Paris wouldn't sack him now. But if we go out of Europe and we disappoint, is there a narrative where Glasner leaves before the end of the season? Do you think that's at all possible, Yaz, in a word, yes or no?
Yes.
You do think so? Yeah. Ferg, what about you? Do you think he could leave before the end of the season if we go out of Europe and continue to disappoint in the Premier League?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So pretty much, Timmy, I know you'd agree with that as well, probably. But let's cross that bridge as and when we come to it. I think as long as we're in Europe and as long as we've got this competition to play for, he's going to stay. And he wants it on his CV. He wants this to go out with all guns blazing. So I'm going to wrap it up there, guys. Thank you so much to Yasmin, to Tim, and to Fergus for joining us. We're next on air on Sunday, the 22nd of March. That'll be a few days after the Larnaca game. It allows Nick Philpott to get back from Cyprus and be on the show again. Producer guy Nick, thank you so much for all you've done. You're a professional, mate. Seamless. Fantastic. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Good night, and see you next time.
Good night, everyone. Up the Palace.